What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of J&B. This is Brandon. I'm Jacob, and lots to talk about here. Real quick, before we get into the stuff that I know you're so eager and dying to talk about. If you guys did not know, Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend went on Angel Reese's podcast, and she's been flamed pretty bad for her 50-50 on Bills and her comment of, do I look like somebody that goes 50-50 on Bills? And I guess my question is, what does somebody look like that doesn't go 50-50 on Bills? Like, I just want to know, like, what does that even mean, look like?
Somebody that looks way better than her, in my opinion. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. And the fact that she feels like that's why she ain't got no man. Let's just put it that way. That's why she ain't got no man. That's what happens
when flexing goes wrong.
Well, we're in a equal society where women wants all the rights and be able to do everything that men do. So why should I, take up 85-90% of the, the responsibilities in this relationship, money-wise, bill-wise?
Well, then it didn't help that after the podcast was over, she received a lot of backlash. Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend, Kayla Nicole, and she went on Brandon Marshall's podcast and was not crying, but was upset because her mom hit her up and was like, probably shouldn't have said that on national television. And she was like, that one hurt the most. Like, and her mom was right. Like, there's just some things you probably shouldn't say.
And her mom's from the old generation of women that stay at home. Probably, I don't know, but I'm assuming probably the old generation. I could be wrong, but like they stayed at home, they cooked, they cleaned, they took care of the kids. They were the family oriented. Where like
I guess my whole problem
male figure
like,
did take care of.
What is so wrong going like 50-50 on Bills? Like, it doesn't mean like 50. Like 50-50 means it's just like you're helping out. Like, why do you have to take?
Well, it doesn't even say you have to be 50-50. Like, whoever brings in, like, in that case scenario with Travis and her, like, obviously Travis, I don't even know what she does as a living, but like Travis obviously makes way more money than her, and so he probably fitted a higher percentage of like bills, but like don't expect me to be giving you fun money, so you can go and do stuff like
it's just one of those things that sparked a lot of controversy.
We don't hear anything like that between Travis and Taylor, and Taylor's a gazillionaire, honestly,
pretty much.
So you don't hear anything like that, and you know what? She fits the bill probably to make him be allowed to be able to travel on her jets.
Yeah,
like she's probably obviously paying for that. I mean, you don't get it wrong. Travis is doing great for himself with his podcast, his beer, and obviously his football money, but nothing what Taylor is.
I would just tell you guys this. Like, all the women that probably watch, like, there's nothing wrong with going 50-50 or helping out, fronting. Like, I just don't see what the issue was on that. And it definitely didn't bode well for her, but...
Well, the issue is that she thinks she's entitled to not have to even come close to 50-50, or she feels... I think the problem is, I feel like she feels like she's entitled because she's pretty. That's great. You're pretty. What else do you bring to the table? Can you cook? Can you clean?
Down to like that.
What else do you offer me besides that you're pretty? Outside the bedroom, what are you giving me? Nothing? Damn. That's why that ended.
Yeah.
So, but like, I feel like more women though, and this is my personal belief, the society is pushing women to think that they need to be like the more independent, the more I don't need a man.
Yeah.
But if you ask any women that has actually had like a man's like quote unquote man, cut off the the man bun, the dude that's willing to be do like the blue collar jobs, or just like the 9 to 5, or like is a dude's dude, they are much happier with a guy's guy. And where they can be more sensitive, they can be like the girl can be more sensitive. She can be her guard down. She can stay at home, and she does the cooking and cleaning because at the end of the day, they want to be taken care of. And I don't know, maybe that's what she was meaning. Maybe she felt like maybe she should be taken care of. But again, it doesn't mean I'm just handing you money so you have fun money. Like, you still have to have your own source of income.
Yep. So,
but that's just my soapbox, my personal opinion.
I agree
on where society is when it comes to
I just also
a lot
think
to women. And
we've in this society. You hear a lot, I don't need no man, but then you turn around and you kind of
where do you take your car?
Like,
the shop?
And again, and that's not saying that women can't work on cars. There are women out there work, but most of the stuff is infrastructure,
it's predominantly a male's.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I've ever seen a female pick up trash. Like I don't know if I've ever seen that. And that's not knocking it, but there's just some jobs that females don't want to do. They don't want to be bricklayers. They don't want to go pick up trash, clean sewers, construction. And granted, there are maybe someone out there that do it, and that's a very small percentage of the population.
In America, out of that percentage, there's probably like a 5 to 10% of the workforce are women out of the whole entire United States that do the blue collar jobs. But I guarantee if you would pull women that are with the quote unquote blue collar guy, or even like you don't have to be blue collar, but a guy that like even just like a lawyer or a doctor does like still kind of like the dude's dude, they are a much happier guy than a quote unquote woke.
But I also think we are also in this era where you have women out here that are just if you think you're pretty and just the way the society's pushed itself that you don't need it and that you're and I just don't know why it's gone in that direction. Granted, I don't see nothing wrong with 50-50. I think 50-50 is kind of perfect. And again, when you say 50-50, like you said, it doesn't have to necessarily mean 50-50, but at least you're contributing something other than what is going on in your bedroom or how your looks look.
50 doesn't mean like money.
Yeah.
50-50 means like, yeah, okay, so I make more money, so like I'll pick up, bigger percentages of the bill. We go out, I'll fit the bill. But it means like you do more around the home, you do like the cooking, the cleaning, you pick up the groceries, you take care of like a little bit more of the kids. But I'll put in the extra hours at work to make try to bring in more money for us, so we can still go do stuff without the kids or your dogs or your cats or your birds or your fishes. I mean, or your ferrets. Like people have people.
Yeah, no.
I mean, nowadays people don't want kids. Their animals are their kids.
Yep.
And that's where we're at. But
that's just where we're at. But. Moving on into the sports world, we're going to start with the WNBA. The WNBA Finals ended last week. The New York Liberty ended a 27-year drought and became WNBA champions in the deciding Game 5, which is equivalent to a Game 7. And it was an interesting series. Starting with Minnesota, their head coach felt like they were cheated, and she may have a little bit of a point. Breanna Stewart did travel, but then you could say the same thing about Games 4 and 3. The officiating is never going to go the way you want it to go. It's all going to come down to getting the call when you get the call. But really what I want to talk about from the New York Liberty's Game 5 win is Sabrina Ionescu went 1 of 19. So Minnesota might be complaining that they lost, but their best player went 1 of 19. I mean, shoot or shoot. I mean, she was letting it fly.
I believe it fly. Yeah, she sure let it fly.
I mean, Breanna Stewart didn't have a good Game 5. I mean, it had to go to extra. It went to overtime to determine who was going to be the champion. And like I said, it was a great WNBA Finals. Like, it really was. It brought in a lot of revenue, a lot of views. Yep. And honestly, New York won, ending their 27-year drought. They won a title before the Knicks. Shout out to the Liberty.
Hey,
They're champions. It is what it is. But
New York popping. Finally.
Jaquan, I don't know if I'm saying her first name right, but Jones, she was the final as MVP, averaging basically 18 points, and I think it was like 8 boards in that series. So shout out to her. I think the biggest thing we need to talk about in the WNBA, and I'm going to tend this to you because you've had a lot of ideas. So we obviously know Caitlin Clark brought in a lot, not just Caitlin Clark, but it was really Caitlin Clark, however you slice it, brought in a lot of revenue, attendance, brought a whole new viewership.
And generation.
And just is a generational player. She made she was all rookie team. She was in the MVP conversation, made the playoffs, and she was all WNBA first team as a rookie. All that in attendance, everything that went up, the WNBA is still going to lose $40 million this season. That's what needs to change. Obviously, we already know that they've changed their playoff format. There's going to be the finals will be go to 7 games. Yeah. Everything else will stay the same. But what needs to change? Do we need a new commissioner? Do they need what needs to change to I've always been an advocate. I just think let Adam Silver run the WNBA because. Well, why not? I don't feel like their commissioner cares. You see what their trophy looks like. You see what everything else looks like. Their MVP trophies. They don't take it very seriously. And you have to take it serious now with all the players that are coming in and the players that are there currently.
Well, you have a spotlight of Caitlin Clark. Like she's their
Michael Jordan right now.
Yes, she's the nowadays Seth Curry, the LeBron James of the nowadays generation. So everybody's attracted to her. Yes. There's a lot of other players that you can pick from that are benefiting off of her, a la really Angel Reese, because without Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese who? But she brings a lot of a lot of fans too, and a lot of people that like Caitlin Clark get to see Angel Reese and Breanna Stewart and all these stars that are in the WNBA. But to make it better, like what are they doing now? So it's over. WNBA is wrapped up.
Yes.
They're in the off season now. But what are you doing to help promote? One of the coaches that were in the playoffs, I can't remember which team it was, literally bashed her players because they're out doing commercials and they're just not really focused. This is why.
Oh, that was the Las Vegas Aces,
and that's why we're struggling right now. Okay, but you need your players out there. They're finally slowly starting to get out there and they're supporting their brand. The WNBA.
Well, I always said for years back when Candace Parker was a big, she was really the only person that used to put it. You see her on, the NBA side, like trying to promote it. Right. And you didn't really see other people like Asia Wilson's out there trying to promote it.
But in the NBA, you have your stars on stars. They're in commercials. They're going overseas. They are showing their brand. They're endorsing it. But the WNBA, they don't do that. Well, but when players try, like Caitlin Clark, she's a generational talent. But you have I guess you would say like the old heads of the WNBA women are bashing her and trying to bring her down versus when you're the names that the older people would kind of cling to that would know that haven't really followed it. But like, oh, they're bashing this player, but she's probably trash. She's overhyped, so I don't care. When they really should be supporting her and pushing her up, kind of like the NBA did to Michael. They really pushed him to the forefront and changed rules to try to make him even better and more efficient in the NBA, and that's really what kind of boomed the NBA in the 90s was Jordan and the rule changes.
Yep.
So to me, I still think though, outside of like obviously getting more exposure, which I think they will as Caitlin Clark's in the league, they will gain more. I still think it was a big miss not having Caitlin Clark on the Olympic team. Even if it was just as a reserve player, just to be there.
You could have put her in the Jason Tatum role. Put her on the bench. It still would have just brought something. Because the other players would have got exposure, and you would have been like, oh, man, Asia Wilson doing her thing. Sabrina doing her thing. And Diana.
I see why like those players get upset because everyone's like, oh, Caitlin Clark. Yeah, those players probably are better overall currently because they've been in the league longer. Yes. And so I get like the frustration, but like if I'm them and I'm trying to get the bag, like Angel Reese said, like my WNBA salary doesn't even pay my rent hardly.
Yep.
My $8,000 rent. Find cheaper rent. Good God.
Well, she even said she was living beyond her means. That she had to use her endorsements and everything to be able to pay for her lifestyle.
But that's the thing that a lot of WNBA players didn't have until Caitlin Clark showed up,
and think about it, it's only going to get richer because you got Caitlin Clark who's booming, you got Juju Watkins who's a college stud, got a couple more years. Paige Beckers is going to be coming. They're expanding.
But I agree with you. I think the commissioner.
I just think you'll let Adam Silver run it.
I like the crossover that they did last year on the 3-point contest. Yes, I think they need to really use the NBA. The NBA has always helped, but I think they need to still use the NBA. And I will sit here and I'll die on the hill that the WNBA needs to drop the rim a foot. We want to see women get posterized. I want to see it. I want bodies on bodies in the paint. I want you to bang on them. That's all I want. I want Brittany Griner banging on the women in the post.
I'll tell you this. It's hard. I get that idea. The women don't like it. To me, try it in the All-Star game. Bring it to the All-Star game, drop it, and have the fun with it there and see what it really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a way to try some things.
You tried it in the preseason. Yeah, tried it in the All-Star game. Like, you drop it
just have some fun with it and see what it does. Like, because there are some women that have been able to dunk that we know, like
Brittany Griner was able
to dunk Aaliyah Boston.
Height. But if you drop that a foot, boy, I tell you what, it's going to draw more attention just for the, people like excitement. People like Ja. Like Ja is as an elite high flyer. Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine, a couple years back were high flyers. Like that dunk contest with them was elite. I mean, Kobe Bryant was a high flyer. Like everybody wants to see people dunk. Nobody wants to see the layups. Like don't get me wrong. Like if you're like a love of the game, you need to watch the WNBA because it's fundamentals.
They're more fundamentals at it.
The best. It's ugly because it doesn't look as pretty. I mean, it is in the sense, but drop that rim a foot and let these women bang on each other. That's all I'm asking.
Like I
Because
said, they
it would
can
draw
experiment.
so much. You know, like you have these posters. Boy, I tell you what, you're going to have posters of women dunking. That would sell. Like
Yeah,
men would buy that. Like if men are out here on OnlyFans, subscribing to OnlyFans, you're telling me they're not going to buy a sweaty woman dunking on another sweaty woman? It's like, dude, yes, do it. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. I'm not.
Like I said, I think they should experiment it within the preseason, the
The
WNBA game. Have some fun with it.
The NFL,
But they have to embrace
the
it.
NFL is willing to adapt the NFL kickoff rule to make it safer, but to keep it there.
Yeah.
They use They use something from the XFL. The NFL has always been adapting and changing. The NBA has always adapted and changed
Yes.
from the paint, from how long you be in the paint and hand checking.
And I still think there's some things that the NBA's the physicality so far. They're trying to work on that. You saw that in the Olympics. The physicality
you saw that
was
in the
great.
first couple games in the switching over to the NBA that they kind of allowed kind of like playoff intensity kind of defense
Yes.
kind of early. It was a little inconsistent in a couple of the games and some of the calls, but I'm here for a little bit more physicality per se. But on the
Again, the
NBA
biggest
side,
change the WNBA needs to make is
Drop
a
the
new
rim.
commissioner.
Yes,
Yes.
different commissioner, but drop the rim a foot and let these women be able to grab rim. And I honestly watch out for Angel Reese if you drop that rim a foot.
Yeah. Especially with the way she can rebound and she's always in the paint. Yeah.
Talk about being in the MVP conversation very quickly.
I'd buy that poster. I would. Angel Reese, Douglas Smith, I'd buy that poster. 100%.
It's my point.
100%.
You have to I mean, that sounds horrible to say, but sexuality sells.
Well,
It does.
use it to your advantage.
Women buy firefighter men calendars because they're sexy. They find them attractive. You find them attractive, so you buy the calendar. I don't. But if you had posters of women in a calendar, they do
Swimsuit models,
swimsuit
Playboys,
models,
yeah.
magazines, calendars. You're telling me that the WNBA put out posters in a calendar January through December that wouldn't sell?
Let's sell. I'd buy it.
All right, my point. WNBA, just give me some little bit percentage when you change it. Just slap me some revenue.
But but all in all, a good overall WNBA season outside of the fact of the money.
I think they're trending the right way.
But they are trending in the right
Money,
direction.
they're trending the right way.
But I just changed a little couple
Hopefully.
things around, and you just can't miss out on the opportunities. But college football,
Yeah.
not a whole lot to talk about there. I mean, we're getting closer to the college football playoffs. Texas did lose to Georgia. They dropped down to number 5. Your top 5 is Oregon, Georgia, Penn State, Ohio State, and Texas.
You have any problem? Penn State is undefeated, and Georgia has one loss, and it's to Bama.
Well, think about it. Penn State was the only.
Loss looks bad now, though. Bama has now lost 2 games,
Well,
and
if you-
Bama's now barely
you go
in the
back.
top
Go back to
15.
Bama's last 3 games. Outside of the Georgia game, you barely. I mean, it's just
They
been
lost,
ugly.
barely won, and then lost.
It's just
They
been
can tell
ugly.
that Nick Saban's long gone. Like that structure there.
Well,
is
yeah,
long
if
gone.
you've already had players come out redshirt, hit the portal, it's definitely a bad look. But I have to say, if you're Penn State, you're the only team that didn't move when it came to the top. You kind of stayed at number 3. Everybody else kind of moved, jumped around you.
Yeah.
But Penn State was the one team that you said you don't trust in the top 5.
No, I don't really necessarily trust them, but 6-0, still 6-0.
So,
Any problem that Texas got mollywopped and fell only to 5, while Miami's sitting at 6 undefeated?
didn't out when Alabama lost over there when they dropped all the way to 7. They dropped out of the top 5. So
I think they hit 5 or 6 when Georgia lost.
So, I mean, all in all, I don't have a problem with the top 5. If the college football playoffs started today, we gave you the top 5. Miami 6, Tennessee 7, LSU 8, Clemson 9. Shout out to Clemson real quick.
Finally turned around.
And number 10, Iowa State, 11, BYU, and 12, Notre Dame. Speaking of Notre Dame, they face
I think it's Navy.
Navy, who is undefeated.
Navy.
And that's going to be an interesting game. Could you imagine if Navy beats Notre Dame?
Yeah, I can. I'm here for it. I hope they do.
Army and Navy are both still undefeated. They are still ranked
23 Army and Navy is ranked 24.
So-
I'm here for both of them being undefeated, being in the ranked top 25, and Honestly, I hope Navy wins. I hope Navy takes down Notre Dame.
So, how do you feel that Boise State was 15th in the AP last week? They win and they drop 2 spots down to 17. Alabama took their spot.
They just ain't getting any love because people are starting to call their conference Pee-wee football, Pee-wee, and honestly, that's a really big slap in the face to these players because it's not Pee-wee.
You can't control who you face.
I can't help that. It's not.
But why don't we ever talk about like the Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, who pay teams to come play them so they can potentially beat the dog shit out of you, and then we go on national television and we overlook. Man, they put 70 points on so and so.
Yeah, like Boise State, they don't pay teams to come and play them. They play who's in their conference, and then they play teams around them versus like these big top.
The fact that
big
people
power schools
again
go and find these bottom tier schools.
Staying on the college, obviously Ashton Jeanty, the running back for Boise State, to me is the front runner for, in my opinion, for the Heisman. Even though Travis Hunter, I believe, has solidified himself as number 2 because he plays both ways. But what Ashton Jeanty's doing and can possibly do is a record that has been there for damn near 40 years
since Barry Sanders.
So. And people want to knock him for it, but I think people fail to realize you still have to go out and do it.
I think we've been on the hype train for him, and like he was even asked about it, and he was like, about Travis Hunter, and he's a great two-way player. The first two-way player we've probably had since maybe Dion. That's kind of been sort of kind of that way, but I just feel like what Jeanty's doing is just more impressive at the running back position. It's not like he's a quarterback or a wide receiver.
And he's 5'9", 170 pounds. Like
there's so much that has to go right for a running back to look the way he's looking, and it's not like he's getting great blocking. He's shedding like he's breaking tackles.
Let's put this in. Let's sum this up in a nutshell. Let's say Ashton Jeanty does everything that he's doing. He breaks the record. Think about this. The likelihood of him being drafted in the first round, even if he wins a Heisman, is probably
that's not happening.
Like 10%.
Like he's not getting drafted.
Like I get a lot of y'all are gonna probably jump in the comments like, well, B.J. Robinson went, a couple years ago. That's great, and that was a shocker. We didn't like. It still was a bad move because running backs are a dime a dozen.
He was from, but B.J. Robinson was from Texas.
Yes,
and the hype behind.
But again,
him.
and again, as much as we are rooting for Ashton Jeanty, we hope that he carries it to the next level. The likelihood of you being able to do it at the next level is still, again, slim to none. Because
at that level, yes, but I think it's just a shot trying to say that a shot at him in that conference saying, well, they're just playing pee-wee football and.
I hope that they can make it into the college football playoffs. I really do, but it's going to be tough for them because of the hate.
I think they'll make it based off the sole fact that they will win their conference and their championship game. So I do think that they'll probably be like no higher than 10 when it's all said and done. In my personal opinion, I think they will get in there just based off of. Whether or not it's close or not, I think Jeanty will give them the push.
I know Colorado is not ranked, but they are 5-2.
Yeah, they're one game away from bowl eligible.
And so, shout out to Colorado. Everybody that talks shit in the offseason, I think you owe it an apology because, again, he's improved. Back-to-back year. Obviously, the year Dion took over, the year before that, they had won 1 game. Mm-hmm. He came in, they won 4 games. This year, they've already won 5.
Won 5.
And the game they lost to K-State, it was close.
It was a good game.
It could have went either way with a penalty being called that we were both happy with. They could have no call or a good call.
On the PI.
It wouldn't have been mattered.
If they called a PI, it would have been a good call, and it was also a good no call at that point because, again, you can't put – in my opinion, you can never put the game in the refs' hands. And
so
that play was
But outside of that, Colorado's played pretty good for the most part. They've been in the game. Shador looking like again, I don't know why people think he's not going to be a top pick. He has showcased he's going to be a top pick. So is Travis Hunter.
I mean, he's definitely one of the top 3 quarterbacks to take.
But real quick, wrapping up college football, Travis Hunter, where do you think he should enter the draft at? Defense or offense? Where do you really want to see him at? Because you were talking about his tackling, how it's not the greatest.
Yeah, his tackling.
He's more of he's a ball hunter. He wants to be a ball hawk. He wants to go get the ball.
I think he could be successful on any side. To me, it just depends on what he loves more. If he loves if his love is more on the defensive side, then I think he will be a great corner or a free safety. I think he'd be even a better free safety that plays some slot.
How many both ways do you think he's going to play in the NFL?
I think in his first couple of years, I think he'll play a handful on like say if he's primarily defense, he'll get a handful of specialized plays on offense. He'll play some.
Do you think he'll play the slot in the like as a wide receiver, like more of a slot?
I think he'll be more probably.
Kind of like that Wes Welker, Julian Edelman type of role. In a way, do you see that? Like he'd just play the slot?
I see him probably more on the offensive side, more kind of like a gadget type.
Like a Debo Samuel, Swiss Army knife, do a little bit everything, play the backfield,
he'll be
moving around.
I can see him more of as getting like, they'll implement in the game plan having him anywhere from 5 to 15 plays scripted for him. That's pretty much going to him or is including in him to get the defense. Because as soon as he checks in, the defense is going
to
real quick. Him.
We obviously know Dion has a list of teams where he would like to see Shador and Travis Hunter. Could we potentially see one of those two guys like, I'm not going to go there and play? Like, could we be seeing that in this upcoming NFL draft? Like,
I mean, behind the scenes, they'll be saying it, but to the media and everybody, it'll be Dion. Dion will be taking the brunt of it, saying, no, they ain't going there.
Yeah.
They're going to pull Eli Manning and be like, no, I'm not going to play there. And Dion's already came out and said that he's going to make sure that his boy and Travis Hunter, screw his other kid, apparently. Like, you go or you go. But Shiloh's
going to end up somewhere. He's going to go decent.
He could have entered last year, but I think he'll end up being like a fourth round pick, no later than the fourth round pick. I mean, he's a very solid corner as well, but he will not handpick his spot, but like he will make sure it's not
like Panthers or the Browns.
He'll make sure that it's a good landing spot.
We're speaking to you, Shador. We know you've talked to Mark Davis and the Raiders. Don't go to the Raiders, though. We want to like you, bro. Don't come to our division. Dolphins. Go somewhere else, bro. I
wouldn't want him to go to the Dolphins, but like go to the Dolphins with all that talent already there.
Yeah.
And Tua is already just one slip and hitting his head on the ground, and he's going to be back out.
So, but since you want to go ahead and went there, so Tua Tagovailoa, I botched that hella bad, but it's okay.
Tua Tagovailoa.
There you go. Appreciate you. He is off IR now.
Yeah.
He's practicing. He had his media day, obviously. And the reporter asked him, are you going to wear a Guardian cap? He said no. Very defensive. Very, very angered demeanor at the press conference. Said it was a personal choice. And I have a big problem with it. I know you do too. And I think a lot of people have a big problem with it because, one, he's trying to say it's not that big of a deal, that we're making something a big deal that happened 2 years ago.
Well,
but it is a big deal.
His comparisons, he was like,
a car crash
or you can roll your ankle just getting out of bed. How high is your bed that you're rolling your ankle? Now, don't get me wrong. My wife could walk through the house and hit her foot on the wall and she'll be 10 feet from it somehow. And I don't know how you'd be running into stuff, but she does. So I get what he's saying, but that's not even apples to oranges. That's nothing. That's like an apple to a coconut. That's not even remotely close to the same thing. You're playing a contact sport when you have the retired players saying that every time you get out of a game, you feel like you've been in a car crash. Like there's a problem on how you're trying to compare that you sleep funny versus
especially with the CTE that's been a big deal in the National Football League.
And the fact that he was like, and they're like, well, why aren't you not wearing the Guardian cap? And he was like, personal choice.
He was just very defensive, and I'm like, why are you so defensive? And he was like, people are making a big deal out of it. I'm like, we're not making a big deal out of it. Like, sorry for we actually care, bro. Every time you get hit, you're folding up like a lawn chair, dog. Like, you're 26 years old. Like,
I get the love of the game and wanting to play the game. So, like, a lot of people thought he shouldn't come back. I thought he should come back.
Like,
but there's steps you can put to try to like protect yourself. One, quit trying to run through people. Just know, like, you shouldn't be running through people.
Well, let's go back. Down. What was it? 2 years ago, they had to teach him how to fucking fall.
Yeah, there was
how to slide, like how to get down.
2 off seasons ago, he took like jiu-jitsu or something to learn how to fall better. I'm like, who doesn't know how to fall? But
again,
quit trying to run through people. And
to
just
me,
you can't get
after
back.
that press conference and how he acted, if I'm the general public, we do not care no more. You have there is a thing in place, aka the Guardian cap, that people are wearing that you can wear. Who cares? It doesn't look cool. That's not going to make you play better or make you play worse. It's going to protect you, and you don't want to wear it. So now, look, dude, we do not care. Like, I do not care no more. And I know some people might think that's insensitive, but I do not care no more because I did care. I was a very adamant, like, bro, like, you should probably take a very consideration about thinking about retiring because the brain takes time to heal.
Well, that's why they put him on IR. So, like, I don't feel like I feel like the Dolphins and the NFL and the NFLPA did their part on not making sure that he was
he wants
IR.
to try to play this week against Arizona.
He's playing.
So,
like, he's playing. Like, Tyreek Hill said that they're back, put him in the starting lineup.
But again, like,
he's here.
Every time he takes a hit, he folds up like that. That's the brain. Like, it's fucked.
Well, the brain turns off every time. So whenever a concussion like his happens and you get locked up, like that, your brain rebooting, your brain turned off and is turning back on. That's not good.
No,
people get concussions all the time, and he's trying to compare it to like MMA or boxing. That way, blah happens. Well, it's different. They're not necessarily getting locked up. They're getting knocked out. Like they're being put to sleep.
Comatose.
They're not getting locked up like that. So it's a little bit different.
It's just like I said. I do not care no more because there are things in place to protect you. You don't want to take it, bro. Like it's just unfortunate that you are. For me,
it's not. I'm the same boat, but it's not that he's not choosing to use an option there to try to protect him. It's how defensive he was about not doing
very
it.
defensive, yes. Yeah.
That's for me. I'm like, cool. So you really don't care. So then I really don't care. And so then
that's what a lot of people were saying.
I'm just here waiting for him to get.
A lot of sports people that do what we do literally is like, cool. We cared about you. You clearly don't care that we cared for you. We do no longer care. So that's kind of like where a lot of people are at with this situation. But again, I hope he stays healthy. I'm not wishing nothing bad. Hopefully he stays healthy. But again,
he has a long, healthy career. But I feel like this year in particularly, I think it would have been a smart choice to go Guardian Cap. You were saying retire. NFL should force him. I'm like, no, you should come back and play. But we're the Guardian Cap. Like, it's there.
I thought maybe the NFL should have been a little bit more forceful. Like, I'm going to need you to wear the Guardian
cap. You can't do that. Like,
because I feel like we're going to be in a trend where we're going to be heading that direction.
I don't think so at all. I don't think the NFL actually really likes the Guardian caps out there. But I think the technology with the helmets are finally catching up with the times that we're in. We're finally putting more money and resources. Yeah, we're finally seeing a lot better.
Well, I mean, like not the Guardian cap. Like I feel like we're hitting in a trajectory where there's going to be something going to be put into place because the NFL is not going to want to be sued from these players with the CTE situation. They're not going to want it. That's why
a lot of that stuff has kind of been settled, though. That's why they invested so much money in healthcare for the players and better helmets. I mean, we saw Mahomes in the playoffs against the Dolphins crack his helmet and was completely fine, and people thought he should have came out, but he hopped up, and there was zero signs that he had any kind of concussions. Maybe he comes out wearing a different kind of helmet that has different padding or a different mold that maybe it fits better because that technology behind the helmets have gotten a lot
they're
better.
Coming. So, but we'll see how Tua goes. It's more likely he's going to play this coming week. We'll see how he looks. The Dolphins the Dolphins really need him back. The Dolphins have been asked. Clearly, their last game, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill combined for 2 receptions, which is just kind of just shows you, and I got a little bit more appreciation for like the Mike Evans and the DeAndre Hopkins because think about all the quarterbacks they've had, and they still got 1,000 yards, still got their touchdowns, their yards, but Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle can't. All that money invested in those guys, and you're telling me you can't come up with some type of play to get you involved, get your stuff, but Mike Evans and DeAndre Hopkins can do it with Joe Blow at quarterback?
Why do you think that is? I'm asking you. So you know what? So you know Tyreek. So you say Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Then you say Mike Evans and Hopkins.
All the quarterbacks they've had, and it's still, especially Mike Evans, more Mike Evans because he's had 1,000 yards every year.
Hopkins had early
outside of
and then Kyler Murray,
and now he's with Patrick Mahomes. But we're gonna get to that in a minute.
So, but why do you think that is?
Because
I have my theory about it because you obviously have to take the quarterback because you're saying the quarterback trash, not trash. Those two guys.
And those guys have some trash ass quarterbacks.
So why do those dudes get it, but these guys can't?
I don't. To me, coaching is a big part of it. I think the scheme, but it's also the player. Like you are very talented. Like we disrespect Mike Evans very, very bad. He is very disrespected. Like let's be honest.
Around the NFL, but no. See, the reason is because Tyreek Hill is a speed, small slot receiver. Jalen Waddle is the same. The difference between them two and Mike Evans and Hopkins is that they're both big, 6'3", 6'4",
can
6'2",
run all the route tree.
Big body. They can do all the route tree, and they have a big catch radius. So where all the quarterback has to do is really just kind of put it up for them to go get it. Now Mike Evans, he is a burner, like he's a deep threat. I mean, he can go. Hopkins never really was ever a deep threat, and he really isn't now. As a burner, I mean, he can take that go route, put it up there, and he'll go.
But you could throw it up, and he can go up and get it.
That's the difference between those two. Are a time.
But just think about all the money that is tied into those two dudes.
That's why they need a quarterback to be able to run the system. Not like the Niners need a quarterback that can run. But does that system.
Again? So for this, from this point of view, how I look at it, you may disagree. Doesn't that hurt Tyreek Hill's legacy that like you can't go out and do it? Like you're that dude, you're quote unquote like that. To me, that hurts his legacy.
I thought him leaving Kansas City already hurt his legacy, and I mean, even Stephen A. said this probably go down as the biggest bust. Biggest bust as a trade for a player.
I just say those people. I just think now seeing how this has looked for those two dudes, especially more Tyreek Hill.
Honestly, though, if I'm Jalen, I was kind of on a little bit.
But like, I also have to put a little bit on this on Mike McDaniel. Like, why couldn't you come up? You're supposed to be this offensive guru in
why
your
couldn't
own.
They scheme openly?
Like, why couldn't the scheme? Like, move him around. Do something.
Maybe the quarterback couldn't do it. It does come down to the quarterback too.
But why don't go get a quarterback that could have do it? You made all these quarterback changes, and you had Sky Thompson, and then you Huntley. You go pick up something. You should have made a trade. Do something.
Kind of on them knowing that Tua is injury prone.
You should have had a guy back behind
there, like the Chiefs always do behind Patrick Mahomes. Even though
like, why did you go out and like? You should have had like a Marcus Mariota in the backfield or something.
The Commanders were smart enough to go.
Yes, they did. But like this, I forced a lot of it on the Dolphins as well. But I also put a lot of the load on the wide receivers as well because.
Well, how's Tyreek Hill not getting up, and how you the number one?
How are you only like combining for 2 fucking receptions? Is a huge in a whole football game? That's unacceptable, dude. Like. I just think those people that look at Tyreek Hill and think, oh my God, he's so good and Waddle, he's all the talent and you saw, like, you just owe an apology to the Mike Evans, the DeAndre Hopkins.
Well, that's why I never had Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill could never be a number one. He could never be the best of the wide receivers.
He was ranked number 1 across his peers, and that
because of the fear factor that he can run. 24 miles per hour.
Yes.
Yes, that's very scary, but not getting the ball, it doesn't really matter.
Seeing that happen,
but it goes to show that's why he can never be why he was never can be the best wide receiver in the league.
Yes.
Because of his stature, unfortunately. And what I was going to say a little bit earlier is, honestly, if I'm Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill has kind of stunted Jalen Waddle's growth as a wide receiver because ever since he's gotten there, he's just kind of slowly... Not really necessarily regressed, but statistically has kind of sort of regressed because they are so similar.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's see. There's some injuries that have happened this week. Brandon Ayuk out for the year. 49ers ACL. MCL.
It's both.
Both, yes. He's out for the year. Unfortunate for a dude that had the whole drama in the offseason, hold out. Got the contract.
He got paid.
He got paid, and then it just was never good for him during the season. Unfortunate that he went out. Debo, he was hospitalized for pneumonia, fluid in the lungs. I think he's out of the hospital now. Don't know his status for this week, but wishing him a big recovery. Deshaun Watson, torn Achilles. Let's speak on that real quick. Non-contact injury. Booed, or cheered. He cheered for getting hurt. And look, I said... Regardless of how you feel about the man and everything that happened off the field, to boo someone or to cheer that someone got hurt. I don't care. I don't care. That's not cool. And again, I get the allegations and everything, but those were settled. So, like, at the end of the day, them women settled. They didn't want to go further. They took the money. They kept their mouth shut, and they moved on about their motherfucking lives. So
a non-closure agreement.
Yeah, yes. Shit, I need to start having you motherfuckers
whoa.
But
easy,
like again,
easy.
I had a little bit of empathy for Deshaun Watson because when he went down, you saw like the hurt, the pain in his eyes. He broke down. Like for a dude to show that, knowing everything that's going on and how the Browns were looking, let me know that he actually cared and he was trying to fix all this. It just was not working. It just didn't work.
I don't like.
But I don't like.
You hate him, like him.
The reason I say that is because your favorite rapper probably murdered somebody, and you still buy his album, you download his music. You know what I'm saying? Like
I can't help
potato.
He could. The problem is he could have had all these allegations and settled everything, and continued to settle these allegations with his time with the Browns. But if he was playing like the Deshaun Watson from the Texans,
I don't think you'd be having.
Then the fans wouldn't be cheering; they would be booing, they'd be crying, they'd be upset. Like, oh, our Super Bowl window, we're not making it now this year.
Obviously, Deshaun Watson is going to be out for some time with the Achilles because it's going to take time. He's got a cap hit over the next 2 years. No matter how you slice or dice it, if he's there or not there, $72.9 million, guaranteed, baby.
He's gonna be there. Ain't going nowhere. No one's going to take that, and the Browns are stuck with it.
We already talked about Tua coming back. Kansas City, still the last remaining undefeated team. We are 6-0, baby. Playing like ass. Shout out to our defense. They are really the MVP. I don't care about no Lamar, Josh Allen, Kansas City Chiefs defense. They are the MVP, baby. Every run game, every top runner that we face, we shut them down.
Yep.
Shut them down. Like we don't give a fuck who you are. From Derrick Henry to whoever you are, J.K. Dobbins, Alvin Kamara. We have Jason, 49ers running back. Mason, shut them down. Like, couldn't get nothing. We have shut every run game down.
Which, honestly, to me is impressive considering
last year we were ass.
Well, we were ass. We were like probably a top 15 unit in the run game. And which is like, well, that's not bad. Well, I mean, that's about mid because it's 32 teams. So that's mid. And now this year, top 5 in the run game, top 5 in passing.
Overall,
game.
I think we are the best defense.
Overall, I think with Spag, I think we are probably 1 or 2, however you really want to cut and splice that one.
Speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs, we made a trade, like we said earlier in the show.
We traded with Sky Moore. No.
He did. He put his bitch ass on IR, bro.
He did too much.
We got DeAndre Hopkins. We got D-Hop.
Yeah.
There are some.
So the trade for Hopkins from the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are eating about $3 million of his cap. So I don't know how much left of that we have that was taken onto our books, but it's a 5th round pick.
Yep.
That if he plays 60% of the offensive snaps and the Chiefs make the Super Bowl, turns into a 4th round pick.
Playing 59% of the snaps, baby. We gonna keep that a 5th round pick. We are not giving no 4th round pick.
I'd give up a 4th round pick to have him play 60% of the snaps and for us to make the Super Bowl and three-peat.
But that's not all, folks. The Kansas City Chiefs are not done, according to our GM. He's going to try to make another move. Question is, as Chiefs fans, what move do you want to see Chiefs make? What do you want? What are you seeing out there? What are you liking? Cooper Kupp is not ideal. We tried to make that happen, and it didn't work.
And we didn't want to give up that rich of draft capital, let alone we couldn't find a team to take on his cap hit. So like it'd be like
didn't really understand how that one worked, but
so it'd be like a 3-team trade. I guess we would have sent draft capital to the Rams for a Cup, and then sent another pick to a team to eat the draft
capital
or the money, the cap hit. For me, we ain't done. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we got greedy and went and got ourselves a corner or an edge rusher.
Okay.
Because we did lose Jalen Watson to a dislocated ankle.
Yep.
Last week. So honestly, like I wouldn't be mad at going and getting a 1-year rental corner or an edge rusher just to kind of
But we still have the dude that we had last year that we got. He's coming back.
Amunihay.
He's coming back.
Charles Amunihay from the Niners.
And that's going to be big to get back.
Last offseason.
Yep. So
he's coming back. But again, that's what I said. To me, greedy. Like, we already have a great defense. Why not be greedy and even buff it even more?
Yes.
What do you think?
I think they're going to try
not necessarily a player, just like, because like that's, I'm not trying to pinpoint you on a player, just in general speaking, where do you think they lead? Because supposedly if we do a trade, where do you think we lead?
I think it's going to be another wide receiver, I think it's going to be the young kid stud out of Carolina, Johnson.
Deontay Johnson.
We've still been linked to him. We've been linked to him for a minute now.
His salary is decent.
Again, the Kansas City's really tough. I want to give up capital because we've been so good at hitting on these.
Sky Moore just hit IR.
Bro, fuck it, dude. Like,
I hate Sky Moore. I do.
He's
had 2 passes this year to him, and he's dropped both for first downs.
And then he tries to pick fights in the middle of the game. Bitch, get your ass on the sideline, dog.
Oh, he did. Against the
Niners. Like, what are you doing?
In the middle of a fight, and I was like, "Is that Sky Moore?" I was like, "Bro, you need to get the fuck out of here, dog."
That pass that he dropped in the center of the field, that was it. Like it was in his head.
It wasn't like the best pass, but
he should have caught it.
You're a pro. You're in the NFL. You're a pro. That's a catch. It hits you in the breadbasket.
It's just so frustrating. But I think we're going to go Johnson. But I would not mind us picking up another guy on the defense, wherever that be, another linebacker, corner, safety, just somebody to have there. I'd be cool with it. I hate you so bad. Go ahead. No? Okay. No. But speaking of the trade talk, obviously we know the Lions lost Aiden Hutchinson to that gruesome leg injury.
Yes.
Unfortunately. Tibia. Names out there that are swirling in his position. Myles Garrett. Max Crosby. The likelihood of one of those players being moved before the November 5th trade deadline.
Crosby, I think, for the Lions in particular, I think Max Crosby is probably the one that gets moved. Myles Garrett's such a cornerstone player for the Browns. That'd be like literally mailing it in, saying, "Yeah, we suck. We're done. Like, we're blowing it all up."
Well, it'd be the same thing for the Raiders too.
Well, that's a little bit different. Max Crosby isn't necessarily like a cornerstone type player, but that's really saying that we are starting over, which I think the Raiders need to. But the Browns. They're also their corner. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but he's more likely to be moved to the Lions versus Myles Garrett.
Okay, but again,
but also Za'Darius Smith from the Browns.
Yes,
he's also been linked to the Lions.
Yeah, that'll be a good pickup.
Chiefs.
Yep,
he's been linked that he's on the potential move. I believe he's on the last year of his deal.
Cooper Kupp is on the trade market.
He is, and a lot of people are so he's Thursday Night Football has kicked off as we're doing this, and he supposedly was going to play, and if he performs well and looks good, a lot of experts saying that you can see him on the move very shortly if he looks good and performs. And Puka came out and said you don't want him gone.
No, he don't want him gone.
Which I mean, you want your
well, again, if you think about it, Puka wanting him to stay because he attracts attention, allows Puka to get open. If Cooper Kupp,
this is only Puka's second year.
Yes,
he's
but
like,
again,
help me.
Think about it again. I could not compare potato. Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster. Remember, Antonio Brown was there. Juju damn near blossomed. Antonio leaves. Juju never. But again, different player, different skill set.
That's some personalities issues there.
Yes, but again, I understand where I think if Cooper Kupp leaves, then there's no one over there that's taking away, that cover two.
Well, they're very similar to me. Puka and Cooper Kupp are very similar type wide receivers, in my opinion.
Staying on the wide receiver position, I feel sorry for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. Mike Evans played on that hamstring. He's going to be out until after the bye week 11. And then Chris Godwin, man. That 43 seconds left in a meaningless game. Leg broken.
Well, it wasn't necessarily meaningless. It was a 10-point game.
It was a 10-point game, but
anything can happen.
Yes, but I don't.
What makes it even worse for him is that he's a free agent.
Yeah.
And he was looking like he was about to cash in and get the bag.
Well, if you see the video, it almost sounded like he said, "My career's done."
Well, he you'd feel that way too after your ankle just goes sideways.
Yeah. So
what sucks for him is 3 years ago he signed a lucrative deal with Tampa, coming off an ACL.
Yep.
And then now they're almost 3 years removed on a very not like kind of awkwardish kind of tackle, not really, just kind of a fluke thing.
It's just unfortunate.
His ankle goes the wrong way and it's gone, and he was put into an air cast, and that's really just unfortunate. A guy that was about to cash in.
Yeah, I felt Tampa
Mike
Bay.
Evans though isn't getting that 1,000 yards this year.
Probably not.
I mean, he could come back. It comes back healthy around week 11-ish, maybe.
But he did get his 100 receiving touchdown in that game. Put him in some obviously elite category.
Did he throw it into the stands?
Well, I mean, shit. No, he kept it.
No, he kept that one.
He kept that one. He walked that one to the sideline. But Tampa Bay is probably going to be another team that's going to be in the trade market for a wide receiver. The Steelers, from my understanding and sources that I've seen, they are really linked to Cooper Kupp. Speaking of the Steelers, Russell Wilson played in his first game back. Actually looked really good. I have to say, he looked really good.
Yeah.
And question becomes, how long does the Russell Wilson experiment go before Mike Tomlin gives who's going to be the quarterback?
Well,
do you still feel like Justin Fields needs to be the quarterback? Like, how are you feeling now? Because we've had multiple opinions on this. We thought Russell was going to be the starter, should have been the starter. Fields learned.
If we reverted back to the beginning of the season, I thought Fields was in a great spot to sit and learn from a very similar type quarterback.
Yes.
As around his same kind of play style. And then Wilson couldn't play in Fields. You saw progression in Fields on the field, and you saw the bad habits that was ingrained into him out of no fault of his own, slowly starting to break, slowly starting to give him more and more of the playbook, and you were seeing it. And he led them to 4-2 record. So it was like, it's tough to pull him. I didn't like it. I wasn't a fan of it. Still not a fan of it, but Russell Wilson comes out, looks good.
Yes.
And, I mean, moving forward, whether or not some people say that, well, Russell Wilson was promised the job, when he came to the Steelers, even though he was hurt, he was still going to get the job back no matter what. Well, that looks like to be the case because he got the job back when really I don't think no other organization would give the job after your quarterback gives you a 4-2.
Well, Justin Fields was the first guy that got benched in the Super Bowl era, leading his team to that type of record. So
they ride the hype.
But Mike Tomlin came out and said, "I'm not here to win games. I'm here to win a world title." And so, again,
you have to win games to win a Super Bowl with that defense. Whatever quarterback's not going to turn the ball over and score
will be the quarterback.
About 20 points. That's probably all you need to really score.
As long as the Steelers' defense is healthy,
as long as TJ Watt stays healthy, in the backfield stays healthy, they will be. And Cam Jordan stays healthy, or Cameron Hayward, stays healthy, they will be a viable defense. But I'd rather you have to now. You can't just flop back and forth.
No,
you have to keep prepping. Just feel like he's going to be the starter. That Wilson's going to shit the bed or get hurt.
Well, they play the Giants this week, so that should be a mollywop. He should have.
If there's any regression in how Russell Wilson plays, I'm going to have questions.
Yes. Sticking on the NFL, I know you wanted to talk about the Jets. Real quick, Robert, the former head coach of the Jets, Robert Saleh said he was not going to do anything, but now he's going to be a consultant for the Green Bay Packers in that. So what are your thoughts on that, him going?
Good. I thought I think everybody thinks that he got wrongfully fired. And honestly, I think that 49ers swung and missed on not bringing him back.
Well, that's what you said last week. They should have went and got him, but
an assistant to the DC or just, some kind of help there because that defense is underperforming, in my opinion. But he's going to be a consultant for the offense to kind of help show or teach the offense how opposing defenses are going to play them and
what's
what
your
their
thoughts
weaknesses
on that?
are. I like it.
You like it?
I like it. I think that's a under the radar move, bringing in somebody like him. And honestly, he brings energy and surviving the Jordan Love scare injury there for the Packers, and Jordan Love looking like he's coming back a little bit more into form. And I'm here to see if Jordan Love can, put a full season together from last year. Obviously, he had a little bit of a hiccup because of the injury, but seeing if he can continue it on to see what the Packers really have with the young core they have there, with Robert Saleh there as a helper.
So
it's a great move.
Staying on the,
it's a Super Bowl pushing type move.
Yes, the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets. They're looking
What's
good.
the problem?
Yeah.
Is it Aaron? To me, I think it's Aaron Rodgers.
I think the bye week needs to hurry up so he can go to a darkness retreat. And he needs to sit in the dark with his mushrooms.
What?
And he needs to take his offensive line.
Okay, so again, if you guys didn't know or late to the party or been under a rock, the Jets fired Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
Promoted the defensive coordinator to the interim head coach.
Yeah.
Stripped Nathaniel Hackett of play calling.
Yeah.
Traded for Devontae Adams.
Yes.
And still lost.
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
now that we got that out of the way,
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers is playing like dog shit.
No lies. Correct. No lies detected so far.
Okay.
So far, you're so.
Woo! I'm on a roll, baby. I
roll.
should stop right now, right?
Honestly.
All right, I'm going to cash out.
You're 100%.
I'm going to turn it over to my host. What is outside of them need to get to the bye week immediately? I don't.
What can they do?
Brees Hall's playing well now that they've changed the play calling. He's gotten going.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Like the run game is for some reason I feel like the run game
Is it more the fact that not everybody can be Tom Brady playing in their 40s and win a Super Bowl?
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is necessarily really even playing
he's
bad ball though. Like when you watch him play, it's not like
you've always said
do
Aaron
it.
Rodgers is a dude that it's a.
Well, he's not a leader. He's not a He's not a raw guy. He's should start going south. I'm gonna start pointing fingers like you said.
Well, like he did to Mike Williams, and obviously
fingers.
Mike Williams got pulled off. He's on the trade block or going to get released. But it's more of like Aaron Rodgers is
I think
like you said, Aaron Rodgers is like a dude that he feeds off the energy. You got to get going quick throw. He's a rhythm person, and right now there's no rhythm.
I think the offense looked way better, even though they lost it. It looked way better last week. With getting a Nathaniel Hackett away from play calling, the offense looked more consistent, a better flow. Yes, they lost. It was a good game though. It was a good game, start to finish.
Yes,
I think they just need. I think Devontae Adams getting there and his demeanor. They got to have a players meeting or something, but I think they will.
An ego check needs to be.
I think
I think it starts with Aaron Rodgers as well.
Well.
The ego check's got to start with Aaron. Let's keep it at 100. It's got to start with Aaron.
As a raw guy, but the only it's going to fix is if they all sing kumbaya.
Let's be honest. This is not the New York Jets. This is the New York Packers.
This is the New York Rodgers. It's whatever Rodgers wants is what Rodgers gets, and it's not looking great. The defense is still a top 10 unit, which is not a shot at them at all. It's still a great defensive unit. It's not like the defense is getting gashed. The offense just can't score, and Devontae Adams came there in a short week, and just because you have great chemistry, you can play with somebody for 5, 6, 7 years, and then 3 years off, not play with them, and then try to just immediately throw them, try to get right back to it.
Yeah.
You're gonna be off.
Yeah.
And I think they'll get on track. They'll be probably a wild card. I still think they'll make the playoffs.
Okay.
I think they'll be a wild card team. A fringe wild card team because I just don't know.
Too much talent not to be there
on both ends. And
yeah.
I don't think Rodgers is really playing that bad a ball. It's not like you see him and you're like, you don't have it anymore. The arm's there. He obviously can read all the defenses, make all the right calls, and like I said, the offense looked better. It looked like there was actually.
I just think an ego check needs to be checked with him and understand come on now, you can't be pointing fingers. This is a young team. These are young guys, and they don't play. And think about it, these young guys wanted Aaron Rodgers.
I think he needs.
They wanted him.
He needs to
You need to embrace
become a leader. He needs to rah. Or I really think.
Well, he literally said the Devontae Adams speech was the greatest speech he's ever heard in his life.
Literally was about to say. I think Devontae Adams will be the rah guy. He was with him with the Green Bay. Then he went to the Raiders and lose, and he was like, I need to get out of here before I die. I lose my head. And now he's with the Jets, and not by no means the situation's over. It's a long season.
Yes,
we're hitting week 8 now, so it's still a lot of ball left to play.
Yes,
and
I agree.
Devontae Adams can be the rah guy for Rodgers and that offense to get them humming and going. Adams can get going. We'll get Garrett Wilson going, and
Garrett Wilson's about to. He better soak this ball up.
They need to start winning. If they can start scoring and get some, they gotta get some kind of juice. I think Devontae Adams, if they don't win this week, I might have to take back they're going to be a playoff team.
So we'll come back to that subject next week. Real quick to wrap up the NFL. One more little sneak quick thing I want to throw. Does Matthew Stafford get traded at the deadline?
No.
You think he stays with the – okay. Just seeing all these guys possibly get moved.
There's no. He's where? Where would he go?
I don't know.
The only place that made sense for him to get moved to was the Dolphins, and the Dolphins didn't make that move.
Okay, fair enough.
Unless there's a contender that loses their quarterback in the next couple weeks, no.
Okay, that's fair. But yeah, we're gonna definitely pick back up on that next week on the Jets, and then we'll see where our Kansas City Chiefs are. Obviously, the trade talks are heating up. A lot of players being thrown out there.
We're getting close to the trade deadline.
Yep. So, moving on to another sports thing that's in the playoffs right now. Actually, the World Series tomorrow.
Yep.
Yankees-Dodgers. This is
two big
historic
teams.
franchises, and we both pretty much, I think, agree that the Dodgers should win this. They have the better lineup, the better pitchers, the better overall roster.
They have the star of stars of stars in Shohei Ohtani.
Shout out to Ohtani, man. Never made the playoffs in his 6 years with the Angels. Signs that massively large deal with the Dodgers. And going to the World Series, baby.
Yeah.
So, again, we both agree that we think the Dodgers are going to win the World Series. But this is going to be a World Series for the ages. Yankees, Dodgers.
I think you will see record-breaking
viewership, attendance.
Just because the Yankees are finally back in the World Series. Dodgers were there a couple years ago.
This is the first time that I think the Yankees have been in the World Series since 2009.
Since Jeter.
So it's been a minute. So I'm not a big watch baseball type of person if my Royals are not in it. But I'm going to be tuning in. I would like to see what this is going to look like. Because, again, even though the Dodgers have the better overall lineup, pitchers, this is going to be a star-studded World Series. Like this is the shit you ask for in sports that you want to see. Like we're getting it.
That's what the media and the MLB or the league.
You got two of the biggest historical markets in baseball going toe to toe in the World Series.
That's why I think it's going to be the biggest viewership they've ever had in recent memory. Watching the World Series because you have the biggest name in Shohei Ohtani. You have Aaron Judge on the other side.
Soto over there on the Yankees. I mean,
you have they can afford everything. Like the Yankees literally had payroll that
like 4 MLB teams.
All the teams on the AFL side was
definitely tune into the World Series. It's gonna be good.
So you and I both agree with the Dodgers. What do you got it in 1 through 4 games, 5, 6, 7 games?
I think 5 games. I think the Dodgers take it in 5.
Yeah, me too. I think the Dodgers take it in 5.
I just think it's just gonna be they're gonna overwhelm. I think you could see maybe like the Yankees like take the first game, but I think as it goes along, they're just gonna overwhelm the Yankees with everything that they can throw at them.
I just don't think, like I said this before,
you said it.
I don't think the Yankees
are
really
built for these moments.
For the roster, how it's constructed, offensively, their bats. I don't think they're really built for the playoffs.
They're home run dependent. Very home run dependent.
A lot of people thought the Yankees had a very easy run. And again, I can't help who I have to face.
Yes.
I face who I face. Honestly, they played the Cleveland Guardians, and they took the series 4-1. I thought the Royals gave the Yankees a hell of a lot better
they did.
Series than the Guardians.
All Royals threw everything at them.
And the Mets gave it a decent series as well, 4-2, but it wasn't really ever close.
No. But definitely tune in. Real quick to not spend too much time on it, the NBA season is back.
Yeah.
The first week is basically going and happening. We had a very historical moment. I don't care what people say about it. LeBron James and Bronny James shared the court together at the same time. First time something like this has ever happened in the NBA. First time that's happened in over 40 years of sports.
Yep.
You had Kenny Griffin Jr. and Sr. in attendance. That was really the last time we saw something like this happen.
Yep.
And was it the moment that I think people were living up for, excited to see? No, but it happened. We witnessed it.
What were you really expecting?
Well, I think people were. I didn't like the offensive sets that they ran. I think it was rushed. They tried something. Bronny did get a good shot. It just didn't go down. But they got it out of the way. I don't care what anybody says. It was an amazing moment to see a father and his son playing on the same team, on the same court, at the same time. It even fucked you up because it literally said Bronny Sr. sealed the game. And you're like, who the fuck is Bronny Sr.? You're like, oh, it's LeBron.
I was like, who? And I watched the clip. I was like, oh, yeah, LeBron.
But
Sr.
outside of that moment, the Lakers actually look good. AD was dominant.
Honestly, shout out to JJ Redick though.
Coached his ass off start to finish.
He did the sets they ran, the offense.
You
like
pulled up a clip that obviously we can't show on here of Darvin Ham's huddle and a JJ Redick huddle. Let me tell you, Darvin Ham was ass, bro.
It was just like, come on, guys, like we can.
JJ Redick was literally, but I'm very curious to see how the Lakers look this year. They're one of my teams I'm gonna watch. Obviously, just because LeBron, JJ Redick, it's the Lakers.
But do you think having his son there is giving LeBron that extra motivation, that extra kind of juice in year 35 million, in year
22? It's giving him a little bit
ties
more.
The record with Vince Carter for the longest, the most, seasons in the NBA.
It's giving him. I think you see a little bit more life. Maybe a little bit more love for the game, because I don't think we'll see Bronny a lot. No, he's going to be bouncing around.
He'll trickle in there, I think, on some back. On back-to-backs, you'll see him there. Some injuries will occur.
JJ Redick has been very clear. They are trying to develop Bronny, and they are working hard.
Even Dalton Knecht, a little bit off Bronny. Even Dalton Knecht, I feel like should have gotten more play time. And he going to be special. He got only about 12 minutes of game time, and I thought he should have gotten more. But
he's going to be an important piece down the stretch. I think
he'll be a little bit. I agree, but he's definitely a.
I think JJ Redick's been very open and very clear about the rookies and everybody. We are going to develop these guys. The G League is not bad. We might send you to the G League and bring you back the next week.
Well, I think Bronny will play the full G League season. I don't think Dalton Knecht ever sees the G League.
No,
Dalton Knecht for Bronny. They're like, people, you don't have. You got to stop the hate.
He was the second round, 55th pick.
Did he get there because of his dad? Did he get drafted there? Maybe, but y'all remember, you can't forget that he was a McDonald's All-American.
Yep.
He was one of the top 5 guards in the nation.
And he also had the heart issue that slowed down a lot of growth and a lot of development because it was a scary moment.
You don't get an All-American nod and being a top 5 guard in the nation because your dad is LeBron James. You don't get
and his IQ and defensively is solid. It's his offensive game, his confidence will be the word.
And he was a second round pick. He was like 2 picks from the last pick in the second round. So like the expectations isn't high. He's not going to be Bron. He's going to be him. He's going to probably be kind of a 2-way player, defense.
Like again, Drew Holiday is a good comparison for him,
which is not bad at all.
That he could possibly develop into. So
I mean, Drew Holiday, 2 natties.
So real quick, wrapping this up on the NBA season because we're going to bring more NBA to you as the weeks go along because, like I said, it's the first week. But there is a guy that got paid.
Well deserved.
That I know you love to talk about. 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Rudy Gobert got a massive contract extension. I think it's,
3-year, $110 million.
You trade away Cat.
Yeah, obviously.
Because you couldn't afford him, just to give more money to Rudy Gobert. I thought the whole point was, let's get from underneath this badass contract. I know you have to regret it.
No.
They
had to choose their big, and they chose the best defensive player ever. The best.
You chose a dude. His own national team put him on the motherfucking bench in the Olympics. AD was waxing his ass up and down the court, offensively and defensively. Yeah, no, shout out to the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards, I know this motherfucker's going to bounce at some point. He's like, nah, dude, I wasn't a fan of the move, don't like it, but shout out to Rudy Gobert. Dude, pay your agent, dog. That's all I got to say.
I still like Rudy Gobert's airball alley-oop. He was literally an airball in the preseason, and he grabbed it and just airball. I don't know how you airball an alley-oop, but he did it. You do it too.
Sometimes in 2K. But, again, we're going to be bringing you guys so much more. It's coming. So much to talk about now. We're excited. NBA's back. Football, college football, hockey starting back up. We got so much we're going to be able to bring to you guys. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you back here next week.